So I hope you're ready, because now we want to start, and it's a premiere because for the first time ever at the Hannover Messe, the Continental Industrial Summit will take place. So in the next 3 days, we want to talk to experts here on stage about the future and about innovations. And every day has its own motto, and today's motto is Continental Friends from Sweden. So, as you maybe know, Sweden is a partner country of the Hannover Messe, and on top of that, Sweden is an innovation hotspot and a place where a lot is happening. So our first talk is called German-Swedish Industrial Success Story, and I'm very happy to welcome on stage a very important strategic partner of Continental. He's a managing director in the business area Industrial Solutions at Axel Johnson International. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome Ola Sjölen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey. And I'm very happy to welcome on stage the Managing Director for Contitech Scandinavia. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause. Daniel Grimes. So I come a little bit closer. So before we start, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you're doing in your company. Maybe you start.
Do you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, just start talking then.
Well, I'm the managing director of a business area called Industrial Solutions within Axel Johnson International, and we're a technical distributor of power transmission products in Scandinavia.
Well, we have some technical issues.
Sorry.
Do you hear me better now?
No.
No? Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
This is number 3, yeah?
No, it's number 2.
No, this is number 3.
2.
This is 3, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Do you hear me now? Yeah. No, so we're a technical distributor of power transmission products mainly in Scandinavia, but we're also trying to create a pan-European company by growing through acquisitions throughout Europe. Yeah.
Okay, great. Daniel?
Yeah, I'm Daniel Grimes and responsible for the Contitech Nordic Sales and Service Organization. We are the Continental Industrial Solutions provider and taking care of the market in the Northern and Baltic region.
All right. So, Ola, speaking about the Swedish market, what are the special features of the Swedish market, and why is Continental an important partner for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think if you look at the market from a customer perspective, I don't think it's very different from other Northern European industrial markets. You know, we have large OEMs who compete successfully on a global market. And of course, they need to have premium products delivered on time at good value. We also have quite a lot of heavy industry based on our natural resources, so paper and pulp and mining and steel mills and so on. But if you look at it from a geographical point of view, I think Sweden is a little bit different because it's a fairly large country with a relatively small population. So it might be quite difficult to cover the whole country with a small organization. So from that perspective, it's a little bit different. And then also part of our industry is actually north of the Arctic Circle with all the challenges that you face in that climate environment. But I think with the relationship we have with Contitech, where we know the customers, we know the market, and we have branches covering the whole country, and with Conti, who have the right product and a very competent technical expert that can give us advice where we need it. I think we have a very good combination to cover the Swedish market.
So, Daniel, now it's your turn. Maybe you can give us some special features about the Swedish market as well, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what role Continental plays in the Swedish market, especially regarding the partnership with Axel Johnson International.
Yeah, I had the honor to be on stage a little earlier, so I might be saying a few things again.
Yeah.
But what we experience, of course, Sweden is a very mature market. So it's not that we are inventing everything from the first start now, but the market is still growing and has been growing quite stable. And this is also a very good place to be in for us as Continental. And with us offering sustainable solutions that are safe, that are helping processes at customers to work better, I think we're in the right place to be in Sweden, because that's where exactly those solutions are required. Of course, a company like Axel International are important partners for us in a market like Sweden, because they are covering the entire market and making sure that the end customers who use our products get the right products, the right service, and the correct consultation, and at the same time giving us feedback and letting us know what we have to do in order to be even more successful together.
Okay, great. So, Ola, we are here at the Continental stand, so please tell us, what do you like about Continental?
Well, first of all, I think very nice people to work with. That shouldn't be underestimated. But I think what really makes a difference for us is the openness and transparency that we have with Continental. And I think that's something that has grown over years, where you really trust each other, and then you can have a very open flow of information between not only on my level of the corporation, but also between key account managers and salespeople and technical experts and so on. And I think part of it is because Continental has a very clear vision of their channel strategy. In Sweden, as I mentioned, we have a lot of OEMs, and some of them are served by Continental directly, but others we serve. So I think an openness and transparency and a very clear vision of how the channel to market should look like is really what I value the most.
So, Daniel, talking about the understanding of business, how does the understanding of business at Axel Johnson International fit with the understanding of business at Continental?
Yeah, again, from my personal view, I would say both Axel Johnson International and Continental are very much focused on improving processes at our end customers, making sure that whatever product is produced or whatever machine is manufactured, it will be top-notch with regard to quality, with regard to reliability and the processes. And of course, a market like Sweden also requires this because of, as you mentioned, Ola, the long distances and quite also a high-cost area.
So now a question to both of you. Maybe we start with you, Ola. For many years, Continental and Axel Johnson International have had a classic manufacturer-distributor relationship with a long history across many borders. What makes this cooperation so special? And maybe there is a secret recipe for such a successful cooperation.
I think I've touched upon it already, but I think I would say it's actually a unique relationship in that way that we are very open and we share a lot of information. And we've even been involved in some product development projects together with Continental. And I think the only way to build that trust so you can have such a open communication is you have to build that over years. And I think we've proven to each other that if we are open, if we communicate a lot, we can actually help each other to be successful together.
So what do you think is there any secret recipe for a successful partnership?
I think Ola explained it quite well already. I think there needs to be a transparency and openness, a trust that has to be developed over the years. But at the same time, of course, it's also important that we as Continental are attractive with regard to our whatever we offer. The solutions we have to be fast and responsive to whatever feedback we get. And I think if we prove this again and again, this will help to stabilize and make this relationship even stronger.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, Continental and Axel Johnson International are both multinational corporations. So, how can both companies learn from each other? So maybe you have some current examples.
I would start with actually to say that, of course, it also is a challenge. If you have two companies who are both global, who both have branches in different countries, and maybe also certain organizations matching or not matching each other. So this is certainly a challenge that needs to be tackled. And again, of course, it requires to be talking to each other. On the other hand, I think Continental is a company with a lot of manufacturing locations in the countries, whereas Axel Johnson is more in the distribution and service part. So of course, there's different knowledge and different experiences that can be shared to make sure we both get a combined optimum.
Ola, maybe you can tell us some current and future topics that are shaping the cooperation between Continental and Axel Johnson International.
Yeah, I think when we talk about the future at Axel Johnson International, we usually or very often end up talking about digitization and sustainability. And I think this is an area where we can cooperate even further. And if you want to be really successful, I believe, within digitization, you really need to have a good foundation of cooperation, openness, transparency, because there are tons of areas where you can actually be more efficient. If we look at our internal processes, we need to make sure that we can get goods supplied as easy as possible without putting a lot of manpower into it. We need to analyze and make sure that we have the right stuff in our warehouses and so on. But there are also millions of opportunities with our customers if we use digitization. I think there are billions to save only in Sweden if we can make sure that the Swedish industry is not having any unplanned stops due to condition monitoring and so on. So there are millions of opportunities that we can work on together when it comes to digitization. And when it comes to sustainability, I think we're already seeing that it's very good to have a partner like Continental that have products that are produced in a good way and that it's guaranteed that there are no banned substances and so on. And to be able to tell our customers that when there are more competing products coming in from low-cost countries, for example, I think that's a really big benefit already now.
Okay, Daniel, let's come back to the Swedish market. What role does Sweden play in the business of Continental's industrial division now and in the future? And which areas are especially attractive and important for Continental?
Maybe I can start again and wind back to what Ola said in the beginning. If we look at the Swedish industry, it's a very long country with a lot of natural resources. We have paper, we have pulp, we have mining industry, we have a lot of quarries and so on. On the other hand, we have a lot of machine manufacturers. For being such a small country, it's actually quite a lot of them. But at the same time, I also see an increase of more different industries looking at recycling, to take care more or to be more in the sustainable and in the environmental industry. We have new forms of power generation, and all these kinds of industries I think are going to be more and more interesting and attractive for us. And of course, again, here we need to be fast to come with digital solutions, with solutions that make these processes and these machines even more efficient.
So talking about your strategies and your goals, what are your plans for the Nordic region? Maybe you can tell us some.
Yeah, of course, being in the market with quite some people, we want to expand our industrial competence, no doubt about it. And companies like Axel Johnson can help us, giving us the information and pushing us to accelerate. So this is certainly our main goal for the future. At the same time, yes, we are sales guys. We want to keep our good relations with our customers. We want to make sure that we have a constant flow of information and are looking towards the future together.
So in the next years, Daniel, what do you think will change or shape the business in the Nordic region?
I think everything will move further into the more sustainable way of manufacturing, more sustainable ways of doing business, more intelligent logistics, and all of that. So these are certainly, probably as in many other countries as well, but these are certainly the drivers for the future.
Okay, so Ola, in which areas do you see potential to increase the cooperation with Continental? Are there any areas?
I know there definitely, and I think we are constantly growing. As I mentioned when I started, we are expanding our business outside the Nordic region, where we made 20 acquisitions last year. And with that, I think we've always had a very open discussion with Continental on our plans, on where we're heading, and of course there might be some conflicts with existing organizations and so on, but there's always been a very open discussions, and we're trying to find solutions wherever they are, and opportunities to grow. And we certainly view Continental not as a supplier, but as a strategic partner to us going forward.
So Sweden is a partner country of the Hannover Messe, so I'm sure many Swedish companies are with us here today. So maybe you can tell us why should other Swedish companies have trust in doing business with Continental?
Well, I think it's quite simple. It's a really good company to work with. As I said, nice people to get to know, and you can have a really good business with them, based on the type of quality of the products they have, and the expertise that they are willing to share with you when you need it.
Great, so that's it. Was our first talk. Was a great start with you. Thank you so much for being here, and yes, I think we can clap our hands and say thank you.
Thank you.
Being our guest today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.